This week, common denominator, Mega Man Battle Network.
Mega Man Battle Network. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
We both had very interesting experiences with Mega Man Battle Network.
quite a few. In fact, well, I mean, hey, look at that. A couple other people played it online as well.
What?
That is yeah. We were got a sponsored stream, and that was a collection of like all the games 1 to 6
It is
plus all the
10
duplicate
games.
versions. Yeah. Uh,
Oh, before
so
we continue, I should mention, I like to make the distinction because there's sponsored streams
hmm
and then there's sponsored streams.
hmm
These were those types of streams where they hand you a big bag of money
hmm
as well as a bunch of talking points. So keep that in mind as we talk about Mega Man Battle Network.
Yeah. I decided when upon the first time the word jacked in occurred, I made a decision and I decided I'm going to play it straight.
It hits. It
I'm going to
hits
play it straight.
constantly.
And that's what I did. And it kept coming up and I just put the sandbag shield up and we just went right through it. How'd that go for
That
you?
so bad, really bad. Like the very first thing Mega Man said to me when I booted the game was, "Are you all ready to jack in super hard or some
hmm hmm
weird?" And I
Yeah.
lost it. First impression. First of all, hey, huge thumbs up for letting you turn off that filter.
Oh yeah, of course.
Whoa,
Yeah, yeah. You got the
massive,
sprite filter on
massive,
or off.
good deal.
You got the pet voice on or off to navigate your main menu if you want to as well. Um, Also
Uh,
the insanity that is like, hey, online play is now a thing. You can do it
mhm.
anytime. Before you had to get your Game Boy and plug it into your rivals and sit there and do the classic matchups. But
Yeah, it's
now,
interesting because it's pretending that you're meeting, like you go to the same option you would to like play somebody next to you, but it just kicks you into the online system.
it's just like fight anyone at any point during their adventure with whatever deck they have.
Yeah,
And
apparently that's how it worked. You just
Jesus
use whatever's on your
Christ.
file.
So I mean, you have to, and so this is where we get into like, like the conversations about like balance and all that stuff because you make a decision early on where you go, there's two things we can do here. We can try to make a game that is like viable in some way for a competitive thing, or you make a game where you take your fun little online deck and you go challenge other people and see what they did. And
Well,
who cares
watched
what the balance is?
I watched the match you played of Battle Network 6 in which you chose your cards and then you were killed before getting control of your character.
Good. Dead.
I have never seen that. I've seen like you've seen the equivalent of that, like you play an old man in pool,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
or like certain like Magic or like Yu-Gi-Oh decks if they get going at the start. I've never seen that in a video game where you correct me if I'm wrong. You did not get to
I did
control your
not
character.
get control of my character. The match started. The first card that the opponent played, well, before the match, he went into some Devil Trigger Beast form, and then immediately did a super that killed me, and there was never control of my character whatsoever.
So if you
Yeah,
want to play this shit PvP, it is as broken as you can make it. Just go for it as hard as you can, and it's kind of hilarious.
so I always when I the comparison point that comes to mind, despite what some may say, is obviously Pokemon, because Pokemon is a game where you raise your little monsters, you customize them.
What are you talking about?
How
I can't I can't see any similarity.
you know what? My bad. You're right. Anyway,
Which version of
so did
Mega
you
Man
play
Network did
red
you play?
or
I played
blue?
blue. Do you play white? Did you play Battle Network 3 white? I played
I
Battle
played
Network
white.
3 blue.
I did play white. But between red and blue, yeah, I kind of skipped over that one. So yeah, I don't know who did you play. Beast, Psy Beast, Farror.
I don't know. I played Mega Man Battle Network 3.
Okay. I played.
exclusively for
Yeah.
my stream.
So no, the whole bit with like Pokemon, I remember you would like you know, you customize your monsters and you have your own RPG character, and then you can go and fight other people where regardless of whatever strength or level they're at. If you because the playing against your buddy in front of you
Mm.
is like a novelty in and of itself, or was at the time, right? And when got further along, there would be things like I remember in Pokemon Stadium, that was the first time I saw they go, okay, every Pokemon is standardized at level 50, right? Here's a couple
Yeah,
moves, and here's an
there
attempt to
were.
make a balanced fight.
I remember what like I was in elementary school. Was it? No, it was early high school, and kids were like playing Pokemon, and like there were a couple kids that were like, "I'm gonna make a team. Oh, these are my favorite Pokemon." And then there'd be like one kid that like I fed my Charizard 80 rare candies.
Yeah,
And then they would just sweep the board. They just fucking sweep them because even 4 times super effective would. It doesn't
of
matter. This thing has a
course.
billion HP.
Of course, it's been game and then again IVs and EVs and you just game the whole thing to bullshit. Yeah, there's an acknowledgement there where even if you do have those modes where you can everyone gets a level same level Pokemon or whatever, the whole point of what are you trying to sell to the player? Is it the ability to take their custom experience online? Then you cannot balance things, right? And
No.
this is also where Souls games go with their multiplayer. It's like,
Yeah, in many cases, they only edge off the most completely absurd use cases.
yeah, soul memory is one way of creating large folders that you fit into of power, but for the most part, you kind of go, if I'm adding PvP to my game, is it so that people can have fun with their wild shit or so that they can have an actual fair match in some ways? And then on
Eggman
top
Battle
of that,
Network has chosen option one.
option 1 and it's also poker because even if you're playing with option A or B, there's still an aspect of, well, I got a royal flush,
Yeah.
so
So I
before we
won.
even start, I win, period, no matter what
Mhm.
you bluff or don't bluff, you know?
Doesn't matter. I won. I got the I win hand
Yeah.
built in.
It was
But
quite
yeah, the
hilarious.
PvP in Battle Network is hilarious. That's how I would describe it. Is
Al-
hilarious.
Also, you lost, so I'm taking a card.
Yeah.
You fucking
That's
you
why there's
pay the
practice
cost.
matches.
Of course, but nobody was in that, so I had to play for
Uh
real.
so I loaded up Battle Network 3 and overall they're fairly charming little RPGs with the card system. I think it's one of the first of those to make the card like real-time battle system kind of thing. Like it might predate Chain of Memories.
I don't know how
Um
that plays, but yeah,
uh,
well, cards, but the actual gameplay is real time.
yeah,
Yeah,
let me see. Mega
definitely
Man
one of the
Battle
earlier
Network
ones.
1 is when fucking oh people in the chat are saying it predates Chain of
Hmm.
Memories. Okay, so
Hmm.
it'd be the first one then. Cool. As a result, I was playing the third one, granted. It's the first time I've ever understood that battle system. The real time rotate through cards battle
Oh,
system.
interesting. Okay, yeah,
Ever.
you can always move and shoot, but your extra shit is all up to the cards you pick. Yeah.
Like I understood it intuitively faster than I did like Slay the Spire, even though that's not real time.
Yeah,
Like
interesting.
of the
Okay.
idea of like, oh, this keeps coming up. Maybe I'll like when you start in Battle Network 3, you have a lot of sword moves, but you don't have a lot of ways to actually get close. So I would swap them out for any cannon moves that I got a hold of because like, oh, I'd like to see cannon more often. And it was intuitive. Like I got it.
Hmm.
And it wasn't fast. Like One Step from Eden is a blitz. Like it is
Yeah.
that is for people that have cracked out on the Battle Network formula and need Marvel.
Exactly, 100%. That is Battle Network fans that want the ultimate like next level of that, and then in a PvP context with Duelists from Eden as well.
Yeah.
Um, and also that have been starved for Battle Network content for years, you know. But this original thing, yeah, is just action game, and then here's a couple actions on top of it. You've never touched it prior then?
No, never. I had never seen it.
Whoa, interesting.
Never
Okay.
seen it.
Okay. I had
Um,
touched it a little bit, but like, yeah, never really went much farther into the game than,
and
the intro or so.
I put a couple hours in. Really charming, cute little like small scale RPGs. Like you have your town, and then you have the
Hmm.
network, and then the network is like fairly basic looking, but it can go anywhere, right? Um, there's one thing that really, really dramatically stood out to me, and it ranged from hilarious to baffling. Which is I had heard these games did not have the best translation. I can confirm that these games do not have the best translation,
Okay.
particularly for somebody who was like reading out dialogue.
Okay.
The game's abject refusal to correctly punctuate sentences, like after a comma you put a space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Refusal. It refuses. So like I'm reading it and I'm like all the dialogue coming out of my mouth is sounding off and weird because the
Yeah.
punctuation is messing me up.
Yeah, we caught like three or so spelling mistakes, I think, but I didn't see any like major punctuation things, but there's definitely some misspellings loosely throughout the 2 3 games we looked at.
So it's really strange because as this awkward like mid 2000 like not very well translated dialogue with like super HD text, like
Mm,
updated HD text, and it's just baffling. It feels like a fan translation.
mm. Have you ever seen the anime?
No.
Okay. Because that was on TV for a while, specifically like Teletoon up here, I want to say, or maybe it was YTV, one of the two. But it was that aired at this like while the while the game was out, so it kind of like amplified its popularity. I want to
Yeah.
say, um, and and so I'm like, you're talking about reading these lines out, and I'm like, I don't know what these characters actually are supposed to sound like according to their voices in the dub, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this little girl with the receding hairline is supposed to sound like ah.
Unfortunate.
I'm
Unfortunate.
I can't see any other way of her talking than
Oh, you mean like Captain N Mega Man?
Captain and Mega Man cross finger puppet.
Oh.
It's gotta be the eight head. Yes, exactly. Yeah, but I definitely also was like one thing I do appreciate about Battle Network. One, the cool naming convention in Japan, which is Rockman.exe. So sick.
Yeah.
I wish they kept that for America, but whatever. For the kids. But also, like, I
Yet
like.
another thing of us going, I wish Mega Man wasn't named Mega Man.
But I always liked how the designs were updated versions of the old Robot Masters
Mhm.
into a like kind of like more closer to like Mega Man Zero kind of aesthetic,
Yeah.
and then it would also slightly cross into the X world as well.
Mhm.
So it was kind of like redesigns of all of the things into this one new kind of way. It was a lot of the designs are sleek and fun. I like looking at like an updated Guts Man, updated Proto Man and stuff like that, and seeing where that got by the end was like, oh yeah, this is what peak mid aughts kid action figure designs were about. Like just a spike beast with just spikes
Yeah.
everywhere on it. Like that's a toy. That's a sticker on the back of your fucking Trapper Keeper. That is everything a kid from 2007 wants. And I knew at the time as well, where I was like, yeah, um, Mega Man has always proclaimed to aim for kids as like its target age group, but the difficulty of those games has never been for kids. So you've been
Never.
fucking lying forever. But
The
now
Mega Man Battle
it
Network,
actually
the
is.
director was on Twitter earlier today. He's playing through the first game for the first time in
Mm-hmm.
like 10, 15 years. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, whoa, what the fuck? Who balanced this? Oh,
Oh
it was me, huh?
yeah, yeah. I'm switching off after Fireman.exe. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, but at least you can see the demographic it target on those games more than you could back in Mega Man 2 or 3, where it was just suffer, die,
Mega Man
suffer.
2, Mega Man 1 feels like a trap because it's like, haha, look, it's a little robot man. Here you go, kids. And it's like Mega Man 1 is brutally, brutally fucking punishing.
They're so lucky the music is so good that you can
Yeah,
sit there
hey,
for
guess
hours
what
and
about
listen
Mega
to it.
Man Battle Network? The music is so good.
Great. It's great.
So good.
But just you want to fight this dragon, you better learn how to jump on these fucking blocks and memorize the pattern, idiot. What, you're too young to memorize the block pattern?
I'm 4 years old.
Shut up then. Oops, time
I'm
to go
4
back
years
to the
old.
start.
I can barely read.
Did you write down the password? Start
What?
over.
No. I'm still working on my letters. I'm 4 years old.
Yeah, it just, and so I remember the anniversary commercial. Mega Man, pew pew pew, and I was like, you children you never could have dreamed of completing a single one of those games. How dare you? Yeah, it was a fun time. It was cool. I also appreciated that, at least so with 6, with each one of the games you could go into the online, and there was like a download extra cards for bonus stuff, whatever, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I was download because they had event cards like Pokemon. And there were 499, which I cannot explain to you how annoying I personally found reading that. Really, there were 499 fucking event cards. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking real?
They just let you jump on a little HUD and like download whichever ones you wanted to create. So that was cool for like, hey, I just want to go online with more variety right off the bat.
Can you imagine? Hey, here's a re-release of Pokemon Emerald. Here, go to this kiosk and download any event Pokemon you fucking want. Just right here. Want Darkrai? Fuck it. Here you go.
As someone who wanted to taste a little bit of like what customization would be like, you know, right off the bat, I appreciated that. That was nice. And then you can also go like, oh, no event cards if on multiplayer if you want. Although
that's
then
probably how that person got so strong right after the game came out. They're probably using event cards.
Yeah, they stole some of mine too. That's, you know, that's what it is. But the other thing too is each of the games features ultra fucking one-hit KO Mega Buster mode, which is just like, do you just want to delete fights from the game entirely and like blast through the story to unlock everything as quickly as possible because you're focused on the multiplayer or getting your save back to whatever it was or yada yada? Then just turn on that mode, and it's like, tell me a story mode.
Because like in the little, you know, the talking points, they're like, hey, make sure to turn on Buster mode, show people how Buster mode works. And I'm like, Max Buster mode, that's what it's called. Like, okay, so I turned it on and then I fought one fight and turned it right the fuck back off because that is a, hey man, I'm having some trouble and I'm an adult. I don't have time to grind this shit out anymore. Can I just shoot my way through? Yeah, okay.
There's 10 games in the collection. If I'm like, I played these all back in the day and I just want to get to one thing, that's fine. You should be allowed to be like, yeah, let me just get to the one thing I really fucking love. Let me just blast right through to it. I get it. It's a skip button, you know? It's you're selling to people that, you know, have some nostalgic love in their hearts for this franchise. So absolutely, you know, it makes perfect sense to me.
And the games are definitely charming enough and seems like good enough that even if you were not particularly, like if you didn't know about them like me, and if I had the time, I'd dive back into it.
And it's I did get to see like some of how complex that builds up over the course of the series, because you're seeing some boss fights in like the 3 and beyond where the dodging patterns starts becoming like a bullet hell-ish, you know? Like it's like there is a perfect line of safety and everything else is death, and you've got to just beyond that one in a way that is actually very reminiscent of Everhood. right?
Hmm.
And like it's like, okay, yeah, they really made the later games do some bullshit dodging and whatnot. So that's yeah, anyone who's like, yeah, fuck this, let me just move on, or whatever, get to the multiplayer focus. I get it. So, but yeah, pretty cool collection. Seems like everything that a Battle Network fan would want, except for network transmission, the GameCube platformer side scroller.
Well,
That
that's a completely different. I mean, that's a GameCube game. That is not a
it,
GBA game like all the others.
it was, but it was forgotten. Um,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know how.
Maybe that's up next. Who knows?
Probably not. But in any case, yeah, Battle Network collection, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all versions, yada yada.
It's one,
Um,
two, three, three, four, four, five, five, six, six. I think.
right,
I
right.
think.
Yeah, not bad.